now, who is with Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri. So let's go across and get some thoughts from him as well. Shereen, over to you.
Thanks very much. Yes, the reactions are coming in here to the union budget. Joining us now is Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, the Minister for Oil and Gas. Mr. Puri, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC-TV18. Before I talk to you specifically about the oil and gas sector, sir, I wanted to get your take on what you believe the budget has been able to deliver on as far as the growth agenda is concerned, but also more importantly in being able to drive the investment thrust, which has been part of the government's agenda and objective over the last few years.
Thank you very much. As a point to start with, I think you've touched a very important aspect which is not sufficiently appreciated. The global situation today, or rather the global economy, certainly many parts of it are facing uncertainty. This uncertainty is partly due to geopolitical tensions, which also affect the growth prospects. Many countries in the world, including in Europe, are either flirting with recession or are in recession. And that's the story in many other parts of the world as well. So if you are interested in investment being drawn to India, you have to show that your economy is able to navigate this and is very firm on a robust growth path. Now, 10 years after the Honorable Prime Minister assumed responsibility, this context setting becomes necessary. We move from a position in the fragile 5 to the 10th largest, to the 5th largest economy, and the IMF is now talking about India possibly as the 3rd largest economy by 2027. So the budget has to be fiscally responsible, it has to do fiscal consolidation, and it must be the starting point in the long ladder towards Viksit Bharat. Now you can have a long argument whether by 2040 you will be a high middle income country or a developed country. That's a separate discussion. But the road in that, the direction, requires this kind of foundational paving. So if you look at this economy, when we started moving from women-centered development to women-led development, this budget provides 3 lakh crores for that. We are talking about the rural sector. Rural development has 2.66 lakh crores provided. We are talking about unleashing the productive forces as part of our demographic dividend. There are 4.1 crore jobs to be created over 5 years. 1 crore people to get internships in the 500 of the country's best thing. Mudra loan slab goes up from 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs. Yes, income tax, some relief, not maybe as much as advocates of middle class this thing would have required, but then middle class gets stuff elsewhere also. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, from 4 crores to 7 crore homes, 1 crore plus in the urban sector, another crore in the urban sector. But more than that, if you bring down the capital gains tax from 20% to 12% or thereabout, yes, there is some benefit. All right, if you come to the indexing part of it, and I believe there is some comment on that. But you look, 1 minute, you are also a gainer when the tax comes down from 20% to 12%. And if you've got a 1 year period in which to reinvest that 12%, which would be caught up with the indexing, etc. So I think all in all, it's a very feel-good, positive, stable budget. And I think the reactions which are coming in, I know my friends in the opposition and I'm trying to pick on 1 or 2 things here, but if it's all that they can come up by way of criticism, then I think it's a very good budget.
Mr. Puri, let's talk about specifics pertaining to the oil and gas sector. And I would like you to comment on the announcements that have come in for housing and urban development. If you could put on your former portfolio hat as well. But on OMC specifically, sir, there was a capital outlay of 15,368 crore rupees, but that's been dropped now from the full budget. The interim budget had allocated 15,000 crores. That's been dropped from the full budget. Why is that the case, sir?
No, I don't know what I have not looked at these figures, and I don't know whether that 15,000 crores is there or not. But you know, that if I remember correctly, we had spent something like 28,000 crores on extra expenditure which the OMCs had done, and we had compensated them by 21,000 crores. Then there was a provisioning for about 15,000 crores on the oil and gas to be paid, but I think that will come in the form of equity or some other form. So I think there is nobody's complaining on that. But other things which have been done which will boost the ENP is, you know, if a ship came in for prospecting and it stayed for 6 months and it had to go during the monsoon back, then it will be taxed again to come. So now there is a recognition that these things can stay on for 3 years or 5 years. So it's very positive in that sense.
Okay, Mr. Puri, as far as the petrol subsidy is concerned, at about under 12,000 crores, sir, given you know what you are seeing geopolitically at this point in time, as well as the supply-demand dynamics, you believe that that is ample as far as the subsidy possibility and need is concerned?
No, I think what you're talking about, 12,000 crores, I'm not correct. This must be on the gas part of it. That was a subsidy. Even in the past, we didn't spend it. If I remember correctly, I don't have the figures of me, but by and large, it was there. Today, your price at the bunk on petrol and diesel is being maintained because the corporate, good corporate citizens, the OMCs, have not raised it. Now, there was a time when there was an under-recovery on both petrol and diesel because the global price was high. Then the global price came down, and then there was no recovery on diesel and no under-recovery on both petrol and diesel. I think the situation is stable, but we will have to watch the situation, Shereen, very carefully, because geopolitical tensions could drive the price up from around the mid-80s now to higher, or it could drop to 70. I mean, one of the OPEC plus oil ministers, my colleague was telling me that come October and they're planning to unwind the production cuts. So we'll have to watch it very carefully. But on the petroleum and natural gas side, it's a stable picture. Things are looking good. I'm only keeping my fingers, toes and everything crossed that the global price due to tension should not shoot up. Otherwise, we are okay.
Yes. Stable picture as far as prices are concerned for oil and gas. Mr. Puri, you know, when you last spoke to us at the India Business Leader Awards, you had made it very clear that companies like BPCL were no longer up for privatization. As far as asset monetization is concerned, sir, will your sector be one of the prime candidates for asset monetization? Forget privatization.
No, but it stands to reason. Now, for instance, they've all collectively made a profit after tax of something like 1,59,000 crores. Their assets are increasing in value. Now, for instance, BPCL, the point that you are making is at one stage, there was a talk of selling BPCL, and they were talking about a particular figure about 30,000 crores. And today they made that kind of profit in a year. Now, I said that, you know, we're in a happy situation. But if the values go on and government, which is 50% owner, if it wants to sell 2 or 3% of one of these companies which is doing, that's an entirely different thing. But I don't think that a company which is doing very well, that needs to be privatized because it is doing well. And if everybody wants to buy it, why do we want to sell it? So I think asset monetization is on a different plane. And as the volumes go, I looked at the ONGC value the other day. I was very impressed. But Shereen, I want to share something with you. I think the best is still to come. I think both the PE and the assets values, etc., will go up much further in the times to come.
The best is yet to come. That's a great note to end this conversation on, Mr. Puri. We look forward to having a more comprehensive chat with you. Appreciate you joining us here, sir, on CNBC-TV18 on the big day, the budget day. Thanks very much for your time. That's the Oil and Gas Minister, Mr. Hardeep Puri. They're commenting on the impact of the union budget. We're not done. We're just